Keyway conversation. The only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Wes. Welcome to the Damu Keyway conversation. Voice of the West Coast. Home to the culture. Duse M's down. And we gonna get to it today. It's sad to have to bring the facts that someone has defected when it comes from your own backyard. First, we had to do K5 in. He thought that he was bigger than the beat. You know what I'm saying? Just because you got squabble, just because you bust your gun. It's been a lot of niggas like you before you came. See, this Brim shit go back to 1968. So the G homies, they encountered people that's savages, barbaric, vicious when it came to standing on business. One name we gonna talk about today, Big Nogood, Fruit Town Brims, 36th Street. So, as you will learn, Big Nogood, one of my G homies. Never had the pleasure of meeting Nogood. And if I did, I don't recall. You know what I'm saying? I was a pup when he left out of town. I think he goes to New York first and tries to start Fruit Town Brim there. It didn't take off when he tried to kick it off. But he was staying in Jersey, and that's where he started the New Jersey version of the Fruit Town Brims, 36th Street. And they're huge. The Jersey branch isn't just in New Jersey. They've expanded outside, you know what I'm saying, a New Jersey. So, and they was, listen, bro, they got a cold reputation out there, man. You know what I'm saying? They really was gangbang. And then in the system, you know what I'm saying? So, we gonna hit that like button if you just get in, man. If I bring y'all this content, y'all gotta show a little bit of love, man. This kind of like got more historic to it, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna go first here. Let's blow this up for y'all to see it, right? So this was an FBI investigation in 11/11/2009. Young, which is Vincent Young, that Big Nogood for Fruit Town Brim, OG Nogood, right? And this isn't the first meeting, you know what I'm saying, that he had with the FBI, as you're going to learn. I think they came the day before also. So we're going to break this down for y'all and read this, right? Let me make sure y'all can see what we got. Yeah. So 11/11/2009, Young, a.k.a. OG Nogood, date of birth, redacted, FBI number, blank, was interviewed at the Federal Correctional Center 2 in Victorville, California. It doesn't say in Victorville. I think they blanked that out. But if you look at the bottom, Adelantos, you know what I'm saying? California, that's Victorville, you know what I'm saying? FCC number 2. So they at the FCI number 2 in Victorville, California. Young was already aware he was in the feds, my guy. Young was already aware of the identities of the interviewing agents and the purposes of the interview, having previously consented to be interviewed on 11/10/2009. So 11/10/2009 was the day before this interview. So whatever he told them the first time was so good, they had to come right back. The interviewers present on this date were Special Agent John F. Havens or Ravens Jr. is real blurry. Detective Stevens Santos, and intelligent analyst Jennifer Bodgren or something like that, right? Young was again advised of his Miranda rights directly from an FD, whatever form, right? Federal Advice of Rights form, right? Federal Advice of Rights. So he's already doing time. I hope y'all paying attention. All the people that CS2 back be lying to, right? It's going down when you hear I talk to dog. You talk to him, wiretap. But this one, he's being warned and given his Miranda rights, just like CS2 back had to have been given on the 60th floor, was the 17th. But he claimed it was the 60th floor, 50th floor. You know what I'm saying? FBI headquarters. You know what I'm saying? So he went through this procedure also. S.A. Havens read the form, pausing after each section to ask Young if he understood. He replied yes, that he understood after each section. He then indicated he was willing to speak to the interviewing agents and signed the waiver. The interview began at approximately 1:45 p.m. The interview was conducted in the presence of Federal Bureau of Prison officials, Lieutenant Matthew Martin and Lieutenant Kevin Grady, right? Young was asked to clarify details of a shooting he did in Los Angeles, where he shot 3 Crips in retaliation. Now, if he wanted self-snitch on him, that's his wish. He's accepting responsibility for his actions. As long as he don't get to going into other people's names, you know what I'm saying, and putting other people at the scene, you know what I'm saying. He reiterated that he had been arrested for the shooting. So he got locked up for it before, but the charges were dropped because the victim would not testify. Young was asked if any of the victims died or if there was a possibility he had hit a bystander. Young said that he did not hit anyone else. There were no bystanders because it was nighttime and near a park, so no one else was around. After that shooting, 2 people were killed while they were sitting in Young's car because the Crips thought it was him. Young was living across the town at the time, though. Leroy Lou, or I can't, it's real, it's illegible, right? Was one of the people killed, along with a friend of his who was home from the Navy. Young did not know the second person, so somebody else that got killed, he didn't know, right? But he was there with him. Young was asked about the gang unit in Northern State Prison and its role. So first they just talked to him about a shooting he talked about before that he claims he was already arrested for. Okay, cool. I didn't hear him say anybody else's name and implicate nobody in that shooting in this state. Maybe he gave some names in the statement the day before. We'll have to research that. But here, so far, we haven't got it. Now they want to know about the gang unit in Northern State Prison. I guess this is in Jersey. And its role in either hindering gang growth or promoting it. Young believed that the gang unit actually promoted the growth of gangs because it put everyone together. Inmates would even plant gang-related material on themselves to purposely get sent to the gang unit in order to meet Young. They want to come kick it with me and meet the G homie, you know what I'm saying? From Batley, blood, you know. So these niggas is getting caught with gang paraphernalia on purpose so that they could go get up under Mr. Young, Big Nogood, OG Nogood. Young said that he and Other leaders even schooled the younger members. Young would give them verbal tests and provide the example that he would describe a scenario where someone was thought to be snitching. And the suspected snitch appeared nervous when confronted about it. So he's teaching them things to look for when you wondering whether somebody's a snitch or whether they snitching, right? Someone who was a little reckless. Hold on. Let me pause this. That's my pop. Now, as we were, when Young was first incarcerated, well, let me start up the top, was a little reckless, so he made him his first pup in New Jersey. Young ended up pleading guilty to the murder and was sent to Rodway Prison. When Young was first incarcerated, the only bloods he saw were double I's, Bleed Dog, Big Trouble, KJ. Them y'all G homies out there, nigga. Young knew them. Check. Young knew them because they came to California earlier to see OG Love, who was the double I, big homie from Inglewood. And at the time, the Bloods were emerging in New York City through OG Max. So you talking about like 93, 94, 95. Yeah, so they already got their shit going. Double I, Fruit Town Brims, they already got their thing going. Young refers to these sets as the triple O's. They were other inmates who were claiming to be Sex Money Murder or other United Blood Nation sets. And Young said that they really did not understand what it meant to be a blood, and they were making things up. Yeah, they was over there freestyling. The nigga OG Mac started the 9 trays and the UBNs and started freestyling shit. That nigga was cap. Come to find out, he had been working. Young began to teach them about being blood on the West Coast way. Young was a double OG at the time and is now a triple OG. The second person that Young made an FTB was No Love, known to agents as Blank. Rose was a 5%er when Young met him in, is that East New Jersey? Yeah, in East New Jersey. Blank really not thinking about recruiting and was trying to take his time. But Rose wanted to be FTB. So Young made him a member and gave him Stain. For those on the West Coast not familiar with the term Stain, on the East Coast, the East Coast doctrines of Bloods call Stain like stripes. You know what I'm saying? Earn a red, earn stripes. You know what I'm saying? In 1990, I guess this is 3 through 1995, a lot of inmates started claiming different blood sets. So Young had to step it up. He began more actively recruiting. Young met Killareek. Uh-oh. So now he done said 2 different niggas' names and gave them the structure of the Fruit Town Brims out of New Jersey. Known to agents as Blank while they were incarcerated. Gums became Young's, I don't know. Gums was claiming Sex Money Murder when they met. Young told Gums about how Sex Money Murder was not an official set. Hey, look, bro, Young Thug, y'all niggas banging this Sex Money Murder, that's not an official set, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go ahead and get with this brimming. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they saying he told the nigga Gums. Gums wanted to become an FTB member. Young knew Gums to be violent. Oh, so Gums, I think Gums is Killareek. Okay. So to be violent and have a following. So he already was a natural leader. He got niggas falling behind him, and his way up, if you believe Young, was that violence is king, ruled by violence. You know what I'm saying? People listened to Reek because they were scared of him. Gums only listened to reason when Young was present. Young said he wanted guys who had the potential to do violence when necessary, but knew how to control themselves too. So off the gate, Vincent Young is painting Killareek as the bad guy. I see what he's doing already, right? Gums was not able to control himself. Gums was Young's first son, and Young allowed him to start the Brick City Brims in Newark. Young wanted to keep Brick City Brim and FTB with a degree of separation between them because the newer guys were too reckless. They thought more about doing violence than making money. Gums received sergeant status from Young while they were incarcerated. And when he left for the streets, he was made capo. Now Gums holds rank of double OG, and Charles Hall holds the same rank. So they got two double OGs. Young is the triple OG. He's saying he's still in control, and he's the triple OG. This is in 2009. Young met IB, known to agents as, or is it IR, when he was incarcerated in Northern State Prison, NSP. NSP. Hall acting as a trustee. Oh, he met him in the prison hallway, acting as a trustee. Young got to know him and liked his maturity and the way he handled himself. Young thought Hall was smart. Right? Let's go to the next one. This shit is not in order. Okay, so this is repetitive. Okay, so we already read that one. Bear with me. We got to get to the right pages, man. You know what I'm saying? This shit is not in order. He said he reminded Young of himself. Hall was not pushing violence, but could be violent if he had no other choice. When Hall, that's the blood way. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it G. That was always our way. When Hall left NSP to return to Patterson, Young made Hall a captain. Oh, he put El Capitan status. Nigga, that nigga made him the captain. Young also met Shores, known to agents as, is it Aliyah? It's redacted, but I see an A and an L, while he was incarcerated. So Nogood meets this other guy, Shores or whatever. Raton was made sergeant when they were incarcerated, but was not given status on the streets. According to Young, Caton never stayed on the street long enough to obtain status. Oh yeah, whatever his name was, that nigga said he was in and out. He was moving fast and on his way back to jail every time he got out. Young said that his method of recruiting was that he would pick a mature, smart person from a particular area. And when that person was released, they would take FTB back to the area they were from. No Love was from Bridgeton and was made the first capo. Young said that different members had different specialties. Some guys were trigger men. They were the ones you had to take care of with money and make sure they were fed. They waited to go to war, and when you needed them, you would turn them loose. Gums was one of those type of people. So Killareek was a trigger man. You know what I'm saying? That you could just pay. But I don't know. I thought Killareek gets bad. So if Killareek get into a bag, he was trying to put him in that box. But I guess he was more than just that. But anyway, Young said that if it was possible to get into a war with another set, Gums would get them into it. There were other guys that had gun connections or hustle. Pim had legitimate jobs. Some had legitimate jobs. Young said that he made it a point not to ask members about the details of their gun or drug connections. They just had to make sure he and the rest of the FTBs were taken care of. So now he's telling them how him and the FTBs in New Jersey, this is the leader, the triple OG, really from Cali, then brought it out to New Jersey. He's telling the FBI, the chain of command, and then how the FTBs were taken care of, and how the FTBs were staying with Gums. Gums got FTB into a war with 9 Trey Bloods, who were under David Allen, a.k.a. Dunn. Gums recruited one of Dunn's or whatever name, Duke, people under Brick City Brim. So, yeah, he then flipped the nigga that was 9 Trey Gangsta Blood to Brick City Brim. This led to tensions and shootouts. 2 Brim homies and 4 9 Trey homies were killed as a result. So 5 people were killed as a result. 2 9 Trey homies were killed in Lyons Ave, one at Burt's Bar, and one at bar called something like the L. The Brims that were killed were named Los and Doug, or is that Dog? Yeah, Doug. One of them, rest in peace to y'all. One of them, to all them brothers. One of them was in a wheelchair, and they were from the Chadwick, Avon area. 9 Trey also jumped Young's homegirl, Spaz, a.k.a. Jelly, known to agents as Angel or Angelique, and then the rest is redacted. She received 2 black eyes. So now the 9 Treys, it's on with the 9 Treys. 2 Brims get killed, 3 9 Treys get killed. Now the Fruit Town Brim homegirl, they got 2 black eyes. Young managed to negotiate a truce and the war was ended. Young stated that Gums was always worried that Young would strip him of his status. He also guarded his close relationship to Young, and that led to Gums' problems with Charles Hall, a.k.a. I can't see what it say, and Mary Holmes. Gums was jealous that they were close to Young as well. Gums also tried to get No Love out of the way. Young hoped that by sanctioning the creation of BCB and giving it to Gums, he would be able to keep Gums in control and prevent him from ruining FTB in New Jersey. Oh, this is nasty work, bro. How can a kingpin squeal, man? Let's see. Is this the one? Brings has staying with need to hold staying within BCB and got powerful due to her close relationship with both Gum and Young. Neves would sell out money, would collect money from BCB members and send money to both Young and Gum. So they got them collecting dues, you know what I'm saying? And he's telling them that he's telling the FBI that he had her collecting the dues from the homies for them while they was in jail. Why was this nigga? Neves was over all the females. She was over all the females in northern New Jersey. Young said that he convinced Neves to go back to school and become a nurse, which she did. And she left New Jersey and resides in Georgia. Young explained the financial situation of FTB BCB as follows. Money was handled differently by FTBs on the East Coast than by FTBs in Los Angeles. FTBs in New Jersey held meetings to take up collections and dues for a kitty. In Los Angeles, Big homies could simply call on homies in the streets whenever they needed money and it would be sent. FTB members were supposed to send money and hold down the big homies without having to be asked. Money collected at meetings was used to bail members out or buy guns at times of war. At one time, Young was considering placing a 10% tax on drug sales made, but abandoned that idea because it would have required drug record keeping and would have been impossible to manage. He didn't want to get into the the math or what the math or whatever. Instead, the collection of money continued through meeting collections. Gums told the members that they were supposed to send Young money every 36 days. 36th Street. He every 36 days, the members got, so I think it's like to get a certain position, allegedly, you supposed to have a certain amount of people. I don't know if it's 1,000, 200, whatever, right? $36 from 100 people is $3,600. If the nigga got 200 people up under him, $36 from each one of them, $7,200. So now y'all can see how to map. Now I'm not saying those are the how many people it was in the ranks. I don't understand their whole political shit. It's some shit structured by him, and I think he was cut. So him being up under prison politics, maybe it was something that he got from him. But anyway, he often found himself having to call out for money, which he was not supposed to have to do. Young became aware that the feds were watching him and waiting for him to slip up. He knew that because he was collecting money from people who were obtaining their money illegally. He could be charged with racketeering. He tried to put distance between himself and those dealing drugs. Young said that he was well taken care of financially when he was in prison in New Jersey, especially by Charles Hall. Young was asked if Hall was one of the people he became concerned about receiving money from because he was selling drugs and the feds had arrested him, and Young said yes. The nigga that take care of you the most, sent you money the most loyalist nigga to you, that wasn't too hyped up, wasn't just wilding and bringing heat to you. And you confirmed to them that you knew he was selling drugs. It's cold game, bro. So money was also blank members to Young's mother. Oh, so money was also supposed to be given members to Young mother known to agents as blank. Sometimes they would send money for things like his daughter's graduation. When Young was in Northern State, money would just appear on his book. Sometimes he had no idea where it came from. After he was incarcerated in federal prison, Young became concerned about receiving the money. When Young was in Los Angeles in the 1980s, he had money. He made some hustling and had some coming in from homies because of who he was. Young was asked about a recent telephone conversation he had regarding Cholo in LA and why Cholo thought, hold on, we finna get back into it. That he might have problems with Young. So why Cholo thought he might have problems with Young when he was released. Young said he did not know why Cholo thought that. He did not have any problems with Cholo, but Cholo was making a lot of money hustling. Young explained his comment about Cholo having to separate it with him as meaning Cholo's money. Cholo would have to give Young enough money to get him started when he was released from prison. Young did not intend to sell narcotics, but he was looking into grants, which would lead him to legitimate jobs. Young sold mostly crack cocaine, said that crack opened the door to going out of town. You can make a lot of money buying crack in Los Angeles and taking it to another state to sell. Young first started selling place for peaks that eventually had runners, and as a group, they were making $9,000 to $10,000 per day. It eventually got too hot, and Young was caught. In 1985, Young also talked about some homies in Los Angeles who were making their money by doing bank robberies. Young acknowledged receiving money from those robberies, but said he did not participate in them. The FTB members were arrested for those robberies. So he said that he didn't receive, he wasn't on the lick, but niggas was just paying him to rob the banks. They were caught, and he wasn't. I wonder if he was working back then. It's some nasty work, bro. Yeah, it's some nasty work, bro. So he talks about the FTBs being arrested for some bank robberies. He received money, but he was not arrested. But why is he telling them about this in the first place? Well, let's go. 1992, Young was shot in Venice by members of the Rolling 30 Crips. They have always had a beef with FTB. Some Navy guys who were on leave got shot up also. Young saw the car driving by like they were looking for someone, so he realized what was about to happen. Young said he later retaliated by shooting up 3 of the Rolling 30s, but all 3 lived. He believed that he got the same ones who shot up his block. Young said he threw up a sign and pulled his gun. He said it was all just business. It was all just business, man. You know what I'm saying? Young was later arrested and charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, but the charges were dropped. So this is the original, the first statement the day before. Only one of the victims came to court, and Young brought it to the victim's big homie's attention that he was cooperating with police, and the victim did not testify. So he said he hollered at some OG Harlems, and they got the nigga not to come testify, so the charges was dismissed. Young believed that the Bloods on the East Coast were out of control and more violent. They also had a desire to write everything down, such as rules. Young did not believe in writing things down and thought it was reckless. Everyone just should know what the rules are. The rules that are automatic are no telling, no stealing, no messing with homeboys, girls. Violations of the rules had consequences. When asked what rule violations would lead to someone being labeled to be killed, Young said that snitching, running out, and homosexuality were the main ones. Young explained running out as an FTB member, running away from a war or a fight and not doing what he had to do to help. Yeah, you definitely getting a put off. I don't know if some niggas might chip you, you know what I'm saying? Or beat you nearly to death, you know what I'm saying, and humiliate you. Homeboys, even if they were outnumbered and you knew you were going to lose, you were supposed to take it and not run away. Facts. But if snitching is punishable by death, then why is he implicating all these people in this shit? Ain't that the tea kettle calling the skillet black? Young said that every FTB member had their own position to play. People were put in positions by him to handle things. If he had to get involved, someone was not doing their job. Young picked a leader for each city, and that leader chose who was under them. Young said he would reap the benefits, but did not want to hear about the day-to-day problems. Gums was supposed to be the new Vincent Young after Young was shipped out. So they saying Killareek was supposed to be the triple OG and take the position that Nogood was playing. Gums had zero tolerance and kept putting people on the plate based on rumors or hurt feelings. Young warned them that the feds were watching and he would cause them all to go down. Gums got into a dispute with Charlie Hall, aka IB, and tried to label Hall food. Young said that he did not mention that. It was based on Gums' jealousy that Hall was close to Young and things Hall supposedly said about Gums. Young was asked if he thought Gums was using the excuse that Hall was snitching to label Hall and Young. And Young said, yeah, do you think he was just lying about him being snitching? Young said that Gums would label somebody if he heard a rumor that they were snitching. Cooperation with police was supposed to be confirmed by paperwork. Young used to receive everybody's court paperwork to search for people that might be cooperating. All his homies would bring the paperwork to him. However, he did not keep it in his cell because the cell was constantly searched. Young talked about No Love supposedly cooperating with police. Young said he received No Love's paperwork and saw that he did talk to the police, but that he did not identify anyone. Young said that No Love was not supposed to even say that he was at the scene, but that he did not go all the way to snitching. Young was asked that despite his close relationship with No Love, would he have labeled him food if he had snitched and allowed No Love to be killed? Young said, yes, that's the rule. If someone is labeled food, when you see them, you're supposed to eat them, even other sex. You know what I'm saying? So now, what that say about him? Young was asked what other cooperators he was able to identify through paperwork. He said that one of BG's co-defendants was a cooperator. He described him as a light-skinned guy from Newark, but did not initially recall the name. Special Agent Havens began to name all of the co-defendants from that case, and when he said Mace, Young said that it was him. Young got paperwork which showed that Mace cooperated both against SG and also named Young in his statement, saying that Young sent them to New Jersey to handle things there. Young said that he never sent them there, but that mentioning his name in a statement to police will put you on a plate, automatic. Most of the time, their fate was already predetermined when the paperwork named to Young or someone else was not doing their job, or else when the paperwork named to Young or else someone else was not doing their job. The paperwork was just sent to him as proof they made the right decision. Gums tended to label people for snitching for personal vendettas with no proof. Young was asked about a dispute he had with Alfred Williams, aka Aluta. Young said that he was incarcerated with Williams, who claimed to be a member of the 5'9" Brims. Young said that it was not official and told Williams he would have to drop that and switch to FTB. A disagreement erupted, and Young ordered homies to get at Williams. It was some triple O homies that eventually got at Williams inside the prison, and he was stabbed several times. Young would often use triple O's to put distance between the Brims and whatever was happening. Young explained that the triple O's or the triple I's, that the triple I's would listen to him because they were trying to impress him and were waiting for him to open the door to FTB membership. Young also, some dispute he had with, is that Whispers or Christopher, known to agents as Blank. Carr was telling people that Young was not an official blood and was really from South Jersey and not Los Angeles like he said he was. Carr believed that because Young caught his murder charge in South Jersey, that was where he was really from. Big Trouble told Young that Carr was saying Young told what Carl was saying. Young did not label him fool just for trying to discredit him. He didn't play that game. Young just had some triple eyes kick his ass again because they were willing to do the dirty work. Afterwards, whispers were heard talking about how Young had him jump. Young was confronted by prison officials with a letter which ordered the jumping of Whispers and had Nogood signed to it. Young denied writing the letter, saying it would have been stupid to write that down. Young did not put Whisper on the plate because he had not truly snitched, just been overheard saying things he was not supposed to. Whispers became a member of 9 Trey. Young did eventually open the door to FTB for a couple of triple I's that did work for him. G recalled the incident in which Los, known to agents, was beaten down severely. It was at the order of Gums because Cruz was running his mouth. Young did not order that assault. Gums did that on his own. So now he's on here pointing the finger at Killareek. The number 2, the kingpin, the heathen came down. I didn't tell Blood to do it. He did that on his own. That nigga went, hey, this nigga foul. Listen, Young was always skeptical of people that became blood at 19, 21 years old, like they did on the East Coast. On the West Coast, you became blood at 9 to 13 years old. If you became blood, hold on, let's go there. You couldn't get any stain because he was too wild. Oh, man, it's not in order, I told y'all. Get any stain because he was too wild. Young wanted him out of Patterson, though, because of the problem he was causing. Gums took Brooks under him and gave him rank. So now Killareek then gave the nigga Brooks some rank. Brooks started to tell Young about the murder in Jersey City one time, saying that he was over there riding with those guys and something about a robbery. But Young cut him off because he did not want to know the details. Young was also familiar with Killer E, who was a co-defendant of Brooks. Killer E would constantly come to Young talking about people snitching and asking to put in work. Killer E wanted to impress Young, but Young thought that he was too reckless, so Killer E started to go to gun. So Killer E comes up under Killareek, right? Young heard about threatening to have Stansbury killed. Young did not know who he intended to have do it. Young did not know BG's inner circle. Die Hard, who Gums put in position in Patterson, and he put everything on this nigga Gums on Killareek. Holmes told Young that Die Hard, known to agents as Henry Kendrick, was killed by neighborhood bloods, the 20s. Young blames his death on Gums for putting Kendrick in a position that he was not built to handle. A war started between FTB and NHB, and Young had to try to squash it. They were not supposed to be fighting one of their own, and somebody known to agents as Blank, leader of the NHBs, wanted the war ended also, so a truce, something. Young had received a letter from McCrill trying to end it. Young was asked about a female who called Nicole, described by Young as Janine Ellison's best friend. Whoa, female who called Nicole, described, damn, they got Janine name up in here. That's crazy. Saying that was Janine's best friend. He's married to Janine because the unknown female was very upset. The female had fled New Jersey because she thought she had been labeled food. The female did not know that there was a war between FTB and NHB, and she was associating with both sets and went to Die Hard's funeral to pay respect. She wanted Young to lift the label, but Young said that there was never one, that there never was one. Nicole is the person in Los Angeles who talks to Gunn. Blank met Nicole through Ray Nas, known to agents as Blank. Another FTB member. Gums used to keep in contact with on the streets from Arizona by a cell phone in his prison cell. Ellison did not like Gums and would not talk to him directly. Young's mother, Ramona Bookman, did not like to get calls from the East Coast guy. The one blank like was Los, who was Puerto Rican, known to Asian as. So she liked the call from the Puerto Rican nigga, but she didn't like the East Coast blood niggas calling her because she didn't know him or whatever, right? Yeah. Why is he telling him and implicating his mom, his wife? This nigga a cold nigga. Young used to communicate with the streets with cell phones in prison. He used them to talk about things he could not say over the prison phone. It was not hard to get a cell phone. Okay, let's see if we can get to the next page correctly. Boom. Northern State Prison or Trenton. He would get, now he's snitching on how easy it is to get cell phones in the pen. This shit is crazy. He would get cell phones in through the correction officers. He telling on the CO. They finally got some COs willing to bring it in, and he's giving up the whole play. The COs were getting younger and were all hired from within Newark. So some of them being hired were bloods. There were 6 FTB members who were COs in Northern State Prison, 2 females and 4 males. Young also had COs passing information to him. The COs offered to bring drugs in to him, but Young said he was not trying to hustle while he was incarcerated. He would allow the others to do it as long as they took care of him with money. The going rate for a cell phone was about $500, but Young never paid for it himself. Other FTB members would take care of that. The cell phones would sometimes just show up in his cell, and he would have no idea where they came from. Young plans on marrying Janine Ellison. This is fucking crazy. He married Janine too in the future and was going to use that as an opportunity to legitimize those who were close to him. He would invite Solo and other FTB members to his wedding where they would get photos. After that, he would be permanent proof that they were official. Young recounted a riot that occurred while he was incarcerated in Northern State Prison. The prison officials came to his cell all aggressive. They had shields and batons and ordered him out of the cell. Young thought they were singling him out because of who he was and refused to come out unless they did it less aggressively. They ended up extracting him from the cell, and as a result, there was a riot. All the Bloods fought with the COs because they were supposed to. They were not supposed to let the COs jump on the big homie. If you were a Blood who did not participate, it would be running out, like he mentioned before. That happened twice on D Unit and happened with Gums also. So they get into it with the police. The police can't put their hands on, but so they got structure, right? They got structure, and they not just going for all this oppression in Jersey and these Jersey penitentiaries. They got the structure. So he did bring them structure, and they moving if the police jump on one of the G homies wrongfully, right? So Young said that the Brims always come out on top in wars because they are more organized. Young has even been called upon to broker truces between other sets because he is neutral. In 2006, 2007, he brokered a truce between GKB and Sex Money Murder in Trenton. Tyson had Camden before No Love came home, but eventually he became Reek's man. He put everything on Reek, man. 50 had Hoboken, but Young told Gums that he could have it. Ray Nas became a puppet for Gums. Blood Snot had Elizabeth, New Jersey, but was killed, and Baby Nogood took over. Little Nogood was also in Elizabeth. So he got a Baby Nogood in New Jersey and a Little Nogood in Elizabeth. Nigga, YGNG, nigga, is Little Nogood for Fruit Town Brim. Nigga, CC, Nina Boy, the podcaster brother, that's Baby Nogood for Fruit Town Brim. This nigga ain't even been in the set, or he just gave his name up to these niggas when these niggas is legends. CC was a rider, got jumped in the county, all kind of shit, right? Homies had to go for him in the county. Little Nogood had the hood on popping. Nigga was up $500,000, nigga. The fuck this nigga tripping, bro? That's crazy. And you got these niggas claiming they name. That is crazy, bro. Was a loose cannon. Shrek from Elizabeth was a loose cannon and was trying to hold down the hood from jail. Mary Holmes was in Patterson. Blank kept overruling her on everything. Hat, known to agents as Blank, was put in position. Okay, that's repetitive. Okay, let's go here. However, no paperwork was produced yet. He provided the possible options. Eat the Walton right away. Oh, eat the nigga right away, or wait until the paperwork was produced, or take your time and watch him until you had proof. Waiting and watching until you had proof was the decision that Young said was correct. If you acted before you had proof and you were wrong, you created an enemy who knew all about what you were doing and would be able to testify against you later, right? Young was asked if what he described was called sleepwalking the person, and he confirmed that it was. So he's letting them know their lingo, the terminology, confirming it to them. Now they're specialists. They've talked to the leader who taught these niggas this structure. Cold gang, bro. Youngsters, stay in school. Young wanted to teach the younger Brims that they did not need to jump right away, but should take their time and think. Young thought that separating himself or other gang leaders from the gang led to problems in prison. He said that if you separated the head from the body, it led to trouble. Inmates in the gang unit get stronger from lying there and learn how to move. Or is that learning there? Young said that it was not unusual for him to hear someone had snitched And when that person came into prison, he would call for that person and allow them to plead their case. If the other co-defendant was in the prison, he would call on both of them to hear both sides of the story. He knew that many times both had told on each other. Young initiated the formation of a council within Northern State Prison. Young sat on top of the council, and each set that was present in the prison would have a representative. For example, David Allen, aka Duse from Nine Trade, was on the council. The council would vote on issues and majority rule. One of the things the council would have to vote on was retaliation against prison officials by physically assaulting correctional officers. Young remembered a vote where he and the others voted to order the assault of a CO. A female named Johnson was the victim in exchange for another CO kicking a blood inmate in the head. The assault was in fact carried out and Johnson was severely assaulted. There was another incident as well in which the council voted to order the assault of a CO in retaliation for a CO who had purposely bumped a blood inmate and disrespected him and stolen something from one of the council members. The CO that was assaulted for that was named something like Norton. In 2005, Young tried to convince the other leaders that the recruiting should be stopped. Young thought the East Coast Bloods over-recruited and all they cared about was growing and having people under them. There was a major cleanup of the membership, but that resulted in new gangs springing up. So he trying to, look, these niggas want to recruit everybody, man. It's supposed to be quality over quantity, right? And so they started cutting shit off and cleaning up house. When they clean up house, now new gangs is starting from the niggas they done victimized. Young was asked about being on the telephone with Monster at the time he was killed. Young said that it was true. He was on the phone with Monster. Okay. Jeez. Reek was not intending to do anything stupid like had a guy killed right there. Reek told him that was not his intention, and then Reek canceled the order to the homie. Young said that the one thing that he would definitely get Reek to label someone was if he found out they went over his head to Young. Young estimated that there were approximately 2,000 Fruit Town Brims in New Jersey and another 1,000 in the tri-state areas, including New York and Connecticut. There were a few hundred down in the South as well. In New Jersey, there were official brims in Patterson, Newark, New Jersey City, Elizabeth, Aubrey Park, Camden, Atlantic City, Vineland, Bridgeton, Cape May, Mackensack, Inglewood, Bayonne, Somerset, Park Amboy, East Orange, Irvington, and some in Orange, but Orange was mostly Pirus. There were also official brims in New York, Virginia, South Carolina, Maryland, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Georgia, and Ohio. Young said he did not dispatch brims to the city, but would make people official while in prison, and when they returned home to wherever they were from, they were sanctioned to grow the set. An example of this would be Red, a.k.a. Bandana, known to agents as Blank. Hicks was actually from Newark, was a BCB member. However, Hicks was hustling with Killareek's brother when he was murdered. Hicks had a gun, but had put it up where he could not get it when the guy walked up and put a gun to Reek's brother. Reek's brother, known to agents' name as something, hit the gun down, but the shooter did not drop it. He just raised the gun and shot and killed Reek's brother. Hicks was not able to get to his gun to prevent it, and then people start saying that Hicks had said something to the shooter Reek put Hicks on the plate, but Young could not really say whether it was because he believed Hicks had something to do with his brother's murder or had just failed to prevent it. Hicks had actually been a lieutenant in the BCB. So now it's getting into some possible dirty politics. He's alluding to whether or not Hicks has something to do with Killareek's brother getting killed. He had a Blammer stash and wasn't close enough to get to it, and the nigga walk up and pull a burner on him. You know what I'm saying? He knocked the burner down, but the gun don't fall. Nigga come right back up with the burner blasted. You know what I'm saying? He get jiggy and knock the homie brother down. Rest in peace, man. When asked who the big shooters really were, Young said they were Reek, Bandana, Blank, BG, and anyone who was associated with BG. They were the ones that brought all the heat on the set because they were reckless. A majority of the ones who brought the heat, Young had never even met, and they were under Reek. Other shooters included KK and Stacks, but they left the state like Bandana did. Bandana was now in North Carolina, and he brought Lil Bandana, later identified in what May's photograph or whatever, with him. Bandana had been in contact with Young and grew the set down there. Bandana had calmed down a lot since his time in Newark. It's some nasty work, man. Often he's seen laying in his bunk in a stupor. This is a lot of talking. Young did not approve of that and told Killer he had to stop because he needed a clear head if he was going to leave. Young was asked if he remembered calling the BCB meetings, which were held in 2001 at Jamila's house in New Community, via his cell phone. He said that he did. He was then asked if he ever called BCB meetings and talked to Reek privately in another room before Reek would go address the group. Young said that he would never do that. Young would talk to the group directly because he wanted them to hear what he had to say. If Reek was telling people that he was talking to Young in another room and then passing on direction, it was a lie. Reek used to three-way call to BCB's meetings in Newark with them with his cell phone. They had very large meetings. One time, Reek was practically the whole hood, had practically the whole hood disciplined because he was mad about not receiving his money. Young said that the female FTBs were actually much smarter than the men. They were less reckless. That's why he had Mary, known to agents as Blank, over Patterson. He so had Bo's sister, Miss Nogood, known to agents as Blank, put just under Mary. Makita Brooks was jumped in by the newer BCBs. Young wanted the females to stop stripping or prostituting themselves for money. Young said it was not the blood way for a female to be sexed in. That happened for a while, and that is how they ended up with so many babies. Young did not believe it was right to demean one of their sisters like that. Young confirmed that at one point he directed Torian Brooks to leave Patterson. Brooks was involved in a lot of shootings and was bringing too much heat on the FTB. So now he's talking to him about Brooks. At first it was Killareek, now Torian Brooks is another shooter, and he told him to leave Patterson, right? You're bringing the heat on me, man. Charles Hall, a.k.a. IB, was on the streets of Patterson at the time, and Hall and Brooks did not get along either. Brooks did not think he should be under Hall. Young said that he did not tell Brooks to go to Jersey City. He wanted him in South Jersey. One of Brooks' co-defendants on the Jersey City murder a tall, thin homie, tried to talk to Young about the Jersey City murder, but Young did not want to talk about it. Brooks started writing Young's mother, Mamona Buchanan, but Young told Buchanan not to respond to him and cut off communication. Young said that Flip Capone was an Italian FTB member who became a member in Rockaway, or however, Rahway. He was one of the first 10 members. He was going to go to Fort Lauderdale, Florida when he got out. Young said that he should have FTB running down there. That he did not specifically dispatch people to different cities, but they would contact him when they relocated. Young and whoever called him knew that they would be expending FTB in that location unless Young specifically told them not to. Young knows 2 FTB members in Maryland called KK and Platinum. One of them has a record label in Baltimore. Young said that Gambino, known to agents as Choice, was released to Patterson and was supposed to be capo in that location after Charles Hall, aka IB, was incarcerated. Neely did not really take the blood thing seriously to heart and started hustling in the Crip area. Money came first to Neely. Young said that FTB members did not have to be directed to commit violence when it came to Crips. When they saw a Crip, they were supposed to get at them. The gunslingers are supposed to shoot. That is not the job of the hustlers. Young said that to get out of the game, you had to get beat out. Young initially wanted to just let people go if they wanted to go. There was no reason to keep someone if they did not want to be Brim. Reek wanted it to be that the only way out of the gang was death. They compromised and agreed on people being beat out. Young said that he still had love for Brim and wanted to see it succeed as he intended it to be. Young was shown the photographs that Bureau of Prisons had recovered from his cell in Victorville on the previous date. He made the following identification. Photo identified by Young as Birdman and Freak, homies from Elizabeth. The photograph depicts two males, one dressed in red hat, red shirt, red shoes, and the other in Lakers jersey. The writing on the back of the photo says, Freaking Birdman, 4/20/02, Jersey City, biggest success is yet to come, to no good. Photo 2 ID, Young as Pinky, a.k.a. Peaches, known to agents as Blake, and Guns, known to agents as Tommy. Did not know the other 2 people in the photo. The writing in the rear of the photo said, The Don of and Diva, 4/4/2009. Young knew about Guns, but has never talked to him. Photo 3, Young is in a photo throwing up FTB hand sign, and he states the 2 males with him are Max and JC. Both are older, so he's identifying people that are in pictures with him. This nigga fully debriefing, bro. This is nasty work. Rayvard, 1985 to 2008. Revenue for 1985 to 2008. There are 5 pointed stars on the shirt. One of the persons depleted appears to be throwing up the Brim hand sign, but it is scribbled out with a pen. Photo 12, identified by Young as Styles from Elizabeth. On the rear of the photo is written, My little bro Styles down Riverfront before he went home. You know the tall dude, because he sent you his love. I forgot to tell you, bro. Photo 13, identified by Young as a photo he took with inmates in Florence, Colorado. None of the persons depicted are New Jersey Bloods. Young is posing with his back to the photo, and his tattoo which says OG No Good, and has a map of California with West in it, and a map of New Jersey with East in it. It says Brims between the maps, and FTB under California and BCB under New Jersey. Photo identified by Young as a photo he took with Double I Blood members when he first came to Rahway Prison. On the back of the photo is written old pictures, 96. It's all over by the Ohio players. Photo 15 identified by Young as Bistro and Lil Bistro. Bistro was killed by Crips, and Lil Bistro does not bang. Photo 16 identified by Young as a friend of his who is not blood. Photo 17 identified by Young as Brims from Jersey City. Young said Poe and Al B sent it to him in his photo. On the rear of the photo is written me, Al B, K Boots, Dre, and me with the right on. Photo 18. So Al B Al, salute Al B Al. I know he didn't know, but I hope you know now, nigga. Cut shit high. Investigation Ricos, nigga. Niggas been working. Identified by Young as Brim called Baghdad from Hoboken, who has no status. On the rear of the photo is written to Big Bro, No Good, Real Brother, Hoboken Finest, 301 or whatever, Little Bro from Smokey, a.k.a. Baghdad. Photo blank by Young is Bandana, so he points out Bandana, both from Newark but relocated to North Carolina by Young and Jelly. So this nigga known as Ray Nas, so he's identifying all of these people for the FBI. You niggas is on gang. You niggas is on gang files. Photo 32 identified by Young as Solo, known to agents as Blank. In the photo, Ballandino is wearing a red headband and holding an infant who is wearing a red headband and red shirt. On the back of the photo is written, "The struggle continues." Photo 23 or 33, whichever one. Stified, identified by Young as Killareek. So then he pointed out who Killareek is. He don't just tell them all these stories implicating them in crimes and murders and the hierarchy of the Brim politics. He then shows them who he is on the picture. To Mama B, Mona for real, to her son Sankofa, had boys and girls for life, Hotep. The real will always outshine the fake. And I want you to know that you're one of the realest alive. They don't make them like you no more. I'll paint the whole town for you. I love you and make sure you got my space at the table because I'm coming. The struggle continues. Love it. The interview with Young was concluded at approximately, 4:10 p.m. Young was provided with a telephone number to contact as Special Agent Havens in the future. 13 additional photos depicting FTB members were seized. The photos were shown to Young to make him aware of the photos that were being taken by the FBI. All of the photos were recovered from a red photo album that had FTB graffiti inside the front and back covers and a cutout piece of magazine that said Blood Money on the cover. All photos not mentioned above were left with Young's property at the prison. Copies were made of letters and written gang-related papers recovered from Young's cell by Bureau of Prison officials. Listen, man, this is the Damu and Keyway conversation where we only the real ones can really dictate the terms of condition. I feel that No Good said too much. He identified and helped do the job for the FBI investigators who these people were, what roles they played, and now these people are, they were already under scrutiny, but will be more heavily under scrutiny to prosecute them in the future for future crime and to tie them to RICOs and anything else if they are doing crime. Still at that time, this was 2009. So it's nasty work, bro. But this is the Damu Keyway Conversations. Duse M's the dime. We gonna get this to y'all, man. Hit that like button on your way in. Smash that motherfucker, nigga. Like we smash these rats out here. No good. We gonna run the live on this one too. And we run the live, we gonna check out some videos or something on the Fruit Town Brim for those that are from a different, planet and don't know the history thereof. We gone. Duse M.